All right, so when this building goes up, I've got to make sure that the walls are perfectly where they need to be. So when I pour the concrete, I need to make sure that these anchor bolts are exactly where they need to be. So I have made templates. So here's all the templates. I've got one more that I need to make here. So I'll show you that process, but just so you... All right, so the first part of that process is to look at your diagram here. And this is the way that the building is going to be sitting with the wall in the back. That's the south wall. Here's the north wall. Here's the east wall and the west wall. We are going to be making anchor bolt pattern number 5 here, and it's labeled letter E. The template pattern for letter E, which is right here. And it says, so for the C plan, that's going to give me the distance that it needs to be. So I'm going to look back at the plan, look at letter E here, okay? And you can see this line right here is in the center. So this needs to be exactly 20 feet from the north wall. And it needs to be exactly, so 25 plus 15, so 40 feet from the south wall. So I'll show you how I put that on my pattern. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take this board here. This is a 2x6, but it's not a true dimension of 6. So the middle is about 2 3/4. So I've set my caliper here for 2 3/4, and I'm just going to scribe a line. All right, so now that I have my line scribed, I'm just going to pick a random spot towards the bottom. Okay, and there's our steel line. All right, so now again, we go back here. Here's the one we're looking at. We know it's 20 feet from the north wall. We know that it is 40 feet from the south wall. Okay, so it's gonna be sitting this way. Here's where it's gonna be. This is the east wall. So we've got 40 feet from the south, and we've got 20 feet from the north. All right, so we saw the plan here. We were 40 feet and 20 feet to the middle. So that's the line that we have now. So now we need to know that from the wall, so this is the steel line, we need to go 8 1/4 inches, then another 3 to find the center of those, and another 4 to find the center of those. All right, so my caliper does not do 8 1/4, so I'm gonna do 4, and then I'm gonna do another 4 1/4 to find my 8 1/4. So again, I just find the middle here, I scribe, then I'm gonna set it for 4 1/4, find that, that'll give me my 8 1/4. All right, so and use my square to find that. So now we have 8 1/4. Let's look for the next part. All right, so we just did our 8 1/4. Now we know that this set is gonna be exactly 3 inches from that line, and then this set is exactly 4. So I'm gonna set my caliper for 3, and then for 4, and I'm gonna find these 2 lines. So there's 3. Here's the caliper, find the exact center, score a line for 3. There's 4, and then go right up to my scribed line for 3 and scribe it for 4. Now I'm going to darken that line and that line. All right, so now I've used square. This was my 4-inch, this was my 3-inch. If you notice here, we've got to go 2 inches on either side of that middle now. So 2 inches either side of the middle to give our 4 bolts. So I'm gonna set my caliper for 2 inches. There it is, 2 inches. I'll kind of lock it in place there. There's my 2 inches. So now I just know that I need to go from here to there, scribe a line, that's gonna be 1 bolt. From here to here, scribe a line, that's gonna be another bolt. Here to here, that's a 3rd. And here to here, that's a 4th. I'll show you that in a moment. All right, so now I'm gonna drill these 4 holes, and then I'm gonna drill a line right here, and this will help when I go to set it in place. It'll help make sure that I'm right on my mark that should be 40 foot from the south and 20 foot from the north. On my drill press here, and now we're going to drill that first hole. There's 1, 4 more to do. All right, and the last hole here. By the way, these are 3/4 inch holes because that's what what it called for. And actually, I'm going to show you what I'm actually using out here. I have no power out here, so this is my drill press. It's just running off of a solar generator system. So here's my panels. It's a Jangkar system, and if I go up into the bus here, you can see that right now I've got about 45% battery, taking in about 113 watts of solar. Template is not to scale, but there's the holes, there's the steel line, and it looks like that. All right, so if I did my job right, these bolts should be exactly where they're supposed to be. Just kind of snap them up here. My anchor bolts. All right, now to give you an idea of what this will look like here, I'm going to pretend that this beam is going to be the top of the concrete wall here. So let's say this is the end of the wall. Take a look at my anchor bolt here, and you can see that the line, it says 2 feet from the back wall. So let's say that this line is the back of the wall. What I would do is I would measure out exactly 2 feet, and I would put a little mark. And what I would do with this is I'd line it up so that this hole right here met right on that mark. So I would look through that hole, I would line it up right on the mark. I would make sure that this edge gets lined up exactly right, and make sure this edge gets lined up exactly right. And those bolts would push down into the concrete, and as the concrete cures, it would set up exactly where I would need them.